If you want an exposure to a market or an
everything they need in one place.
Being the world's foremost authority on individuals, advisors and institutions.
Hello and welcome to the Morningstar series, Ask the Expert. I'm Emma Wall and here with me today is Lindsay McFater, Morningstar analyst, to talk about multi-asset funds. Hello Lindsay.
Hi Emma.
So we're here today to talk about multi-asset portfolios and multi-asset funds. These funds are particularly good for a core holding in a portfolio, aren't they? Why is that?
Absolutely. I think given the current environment and people's awareness of risk and also concerns over the bond market, investors want diversification. They want something that will protect on the downside, but they want something that will also gain some capital growth for them in the long term. And also it gives diversification. So they've got equities, they've got bonds, and they've also got some absolute return in there, which also is providing that something different within the funds.
And particularly for beginner investors, it's basically outsourcing the portfolio allocation, which can be the trickiest bit when investing.
Absolutely, because when we look at funds and we rate funds, we look at the managers, which is key. So yes, you're outsourcing it to that manager. So if you believe in them and they're using a consistent and a continued and a skillful approach, it's them you're investing your money with, absolutely.
So perhaps you could give us one of these funds that would be good for a core holding in a portfolio.
Sure, one I can think of is the AXA Framlington Managed Balance Fund. This is run by Richard Pearson. He has 25 years of investment experience and he's actually been running this fund since 1994. So given his consistent and his skillful approach, we rate him very highly. The way he runs this fund is he does asset allocation. He then looks at the UK equities, and when he's looking at them, he's looking for the capital growth and he's looking for attractive valuations. But at the same time, he's offsetting the volatility with the fixed income portion of the portfolio and using cash. So it's giving that broad array of diversification. But I think what makes this key is the simple approach we like about this fund. And given the fact that there are very many fund launches that are becoming increasingly complex and difficult for investors to understand, we like that and we rate that very highly.
So perhaps this is one of those ones that could be called a steady Eddie.
Absolutely, yes, especially given he's a steady Eddie investor. He's been doing it for many years and he's seen various market cycles up and down, and he's managed to really hold on to his key portfolio without making those changes to the short term to gain the short term performance, which we're very favourable of.
And what about a second fund?
Yes, so another fund I've got that springs to mind is the Henderson Cautious Managed Fund. This sits in the IMA 20 to 60% shares. Now, it's managed by Chris Burville, who's managed it single-handedly since 2003, 2012. And in 2012, he brought on two co-managers, Jenna Barnard and John Patulu, to help with the fixed income expertise. And we view that as a positive development, given it plays to the strength and the expertise of the fund. But what we like about Chris is he's very aware of his investor base, who are predominantly cautious. And he very much plays to that. And so the fund is structured as a plain vanilla, just UK bonds, UK equities and cash.
And between the three of them, they've got a lot of experience, haven't they? Because John and Jenna run about 4 fixed income portfolios. Their strategic bond fund does extremely well. It's very highly rated by us. Yeah. So between the three of them, they're really covering all the bases and you're getting that combined knowledge, aren't you?
Absolutely. And they're all, like you say, they're all managers in their own single right that we rate very highly, but combined it just makes them even stronger as a team.
And what's the third fund?
Another fund I can think of is Jupiter, actually, Jupiter Growth Portfolio. So this is slightly different than the other two because it's an active fund of fund. But I think what a quality key point to mention in this fund is the expertise and the skill of the management team, which is run by John Chatfield Roberts, the group's CIO. And together he is a close-knit team who have been working together, some of them over 10 years. But what makes them more unique is it's an actively managed fund, but they're focusing on capital preservation as well as capital growth in order to gain that long-term performance for the investors. And they've just shown through time they've been able to make those timely allocation changes developing on what their views of the economy are at the time.
Well, John Chatfield Roberts is another one of those sort of stalwart star fund managers. He's been at Jupiter forever and ever. That Merlin suite is quite an impressive suite, isn't it? Because it has a fund for almost every risk profile, but this one in particular you think is good for the core holding? Yes,
we like it because it's giving that capital preservation, but it's also giving that bit of growth as well, which is what investors are looking for at the moment within their portfolios.
Lindsay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is Emma Wall for Morningstar. Thank you for watching.